Hello and welcome to my November 2018, or said 19 then, Patreon Q&A video. And we're getting close to the end of the year now, and I want to kind of at least round off the 12 Q&As of the year. I'll probably, what's the word? I'll probably kind of discontinue these Q&As once we get to January. I feel like a lot of my Patreon supporters are the same. You know, I don't get many new ones, and so I feel like a lot of you guys, it's a chore for you guys to ask me these questions now, but it's fun, all this. I mean, yeah, you can sound off, you can sound, I'll leave that one for free. You can sound off on that in the comment section if you are a Patreon supporter, if you feel like you enjoy these Q&A videos, if you enjoy being able to ask a question every month, or if you are kind of tired of it at this point. It's fine if you are, trust me. So, I have a number of questions for this month, and the first one is from Justin. He says, how do you think you will tackle Decalogue for your 1001 series, since it is split into 10 parts? I watched it this year and it was such an amazing and rewarding cinematic experience that, strangely enough, was made for TV. A very good question. Obviously, I'm going to be reviewing the Decalogue project by Krzysztof Kieślowski, and I'm really excited about watching it and reviewing it because I'm a huge fan of Kieślowski's work, in particular the Three Colors trilogy. Also, The Double Life of Veronique was a film that I was really captivated by, if not completely satisfied with, but I love Kieślowski, and so the Decalogue is something I'd heard about many years ago, and I might actually be able to just show it to you. It's right here, the Arrow Academy box set. Oh god, the whole thing started moving. That could have been a complete disaster, especially considering there's like a 12-inch Praetorian Guard standing on the top that could have fallen right on top of my head. So very carefully we have the Decalogue Blu-ray, which I got for Christmas like 2 or 3 years ago, and it's just a phenomenal set that I have not even touched, but it has everything on there in the true form that it should be, in high definition, being a TV work and being released in Europe. And yeah, just absolutely loaded to the gills with special features. And how am I going to tackle it? So I could watch all 10 parts of this, and over like say a week or a month, and I could sit down and make a video talking about all 10 of them, and I could talk for 20 minutes and just skirt over a lot of things, and it wouldn't be very thorough and just give you a rough impression of my thoughts. Or I could watch all 10 parts over a week or a month and then sit down and make a video that's about 2 or 3 hours long and completely lose all of your interest for being so long-winded about it. Or I'm going to do what I plan to do, and I thought about this even like 2 years ago, is to eventually sit down and watch this, watch the first one, sit down in front of the camera, talk about it, and then watch the second one, and then sit down in front of the camera, talk about it. So I'm going to do it in increments. Whenever I watch one of them, I'll sit down, record my thoughts on that part, and then at the very end round off everything. So it'll probably end up being the longest Epic Film Challenge 2 video period, I'm sure. But that is how I plan to tackle that one. So thank you for the question. I don't know when it's going to be. I kind of keep trying to think that it will be like a milestone episode. So perhaps something like episode 500 maybe. But that seems so far away. I don't know. We'll see what happens as far as when I'll be doing it. Chris, CM42TV, or The Good Bit Podcast, asked, what has been your personal favorite series on your YouTube channel over the years? Excluding the 24-hour movie marathon, I've always enjoyed your mail days and the countdowns. Yeah, I enjoy doing mail days, but they're not something I'm really proud of or happy with. They're fun to make. I never really go back and watch them unless it's something like a friend sent me or something. So countdowns, sure. I really like doing the list. A couple, was it a year ago or 2 years ago? I basically ran down all the films I'd seen in 2016. Really enjoyed doing that. Of course, this year I did my 50 greatest movies countdown, which I thought was, you know, I was really happy with that. I put so much work into that. But if I think about things I'm the most proud of in terms of a series, I think back to maybe the RazorwireReviews Batathon, but then that was very simple, just an intro and just me talking for 15 minutes. So, and again, I've done all these movie marathons and stuff, but you're excluding those, taking the movie marathons off the table. I would say probably, and I should think about this before I kind of read the questions, probably, I think, no, definitely, I think it would be my Michael Keaton month, which is something I did in October 2013, which is now over 5 years ago. I can't believe it. So every day of the month there was a review, or multiple reviews. Sometimes there'd be like there was quite a few double bill reviews talking about 2 of his films. So what I did was I decided to take my favorite actor, Michael Keaton, and watch every single film he ever appeared in, including one that he only appeared in for like 2 seconds. And I reviewed it anyway, you know, and so I was so thorough with that. And I think the only thing I missed was this like 3-hour mini series. But movies, I had it covered up until 2013 at least. And so I went through everything, and every video had, like, for me, I think, a level of editing I was really happy with, and I don't know how I managed to do that, because I ran myself into the ground with that series. There were so many films to watch, so many films to talk about, to edit. I did this kind of framing device thing. Well, not framing device, but it was kind of this this ongoing visual gag in a way, where it was a picture of a TV on a stand with a brick wall, and throughout the month, like a poster or an image from one of the films would get added onto the wall, or there was like a VHS tape on top of the TV, even a sticker on the TV at one point. And so I was kind of adding to like the Michael Keaton-ness, and then on the TV I would show like a trailer from the film, or an interview from the relating to the film. And so I put all these little details and things in clips and you know, images and so on. So I was so happy with that. At the time, it didn't feel like worth the effort because no one really watched them. Well, they did, but very low views. But then I go back now, and some of those videos have thousands of views because I'm talking about films that, you know, that people aren't making videos about films like, you know, My Life, or The Paper, or Speechless, or is it A Shot of Glory? I forget, even forget some of the titles of them, but some of those kind of more obscure ones have gotten loads of views, which is really interesting. And I did some skits as well in there, I think. I did like one where I cloned myself 4 times for multiplicity, so yeah, I'd say that's the one that is kind of the dark horse of my YouTube career that I really am really happy with. My personal favourite series, we'll say. Aaron Pennington asks, what movie surprised you the most this year? Conversely, what movie disappointed you the most? And for that, I'm going to have to actually, excuse me, open up my Letterboxd account and look at the films I've seen this year to kind of give myself a better idea. Disappointing. This is a really random thing. Just the word disappointing reminds me of this thing from Big Brother. It was either the 3rd or 4th series, way back in the beginning. And it was this guy who always, is it named Dean? He always used to hang out in the garden in the Big Brother house, and he'd have his arm like this. Like that. And like, it looks like I'm pulling my head off, but his arms are so long and gangly that he was just kind of like just lightly resting his arm like that, but his arm would go all the way around. I don't know, I'm going into this. And they were calling everyone in for some task. And they went in, they came back out, something like that. And he said this line, I'll never forget it. He said, how boring, unrewarding, disappointing and horrible that was. And that line, that phrase is forever burnt into my brain, that even then, just a minute ago when I said the word disappointing, it came back into my head. And there you go, that's what you're here for. Sorry. So, Letterboxd, let's get to my lists. My 2018 list. So the most surprising and the most disappointing. I tell you what, I could probably say this without even looking. I think Tomb Raider was the big surprise for me this year, which sounds like a weird one. I mean, there are films like BlacKkKlansman or Leave No Trace or A Quiet Place or Game Night, actually. I'll get to that. So A Quiet Place, Leave No Trace, BlacKkKlansman, these are films that I was looking forward to seeing and heard were pretty good, but blew me away with how incredible they were. But I think Tomb Raider, I wasn't expecting much, and it's right in the middle of my ranking for the year, but it was just so good. I think it's the best video game adaptation, not because, oh, it's the most like the video game, but it's the one video game movie that I feel like stands as its own great film, you know, and I know people don't really like it, but I think it's a genuinely great action-adventure film in the vein of the Indiana Jones series that has genuine weight and emotion and gravitas, and I thought Vikander was fantastic. But actually, I see that I've put something that is closer to the top, and it is Game Night. Huge surprise. It just looked like any other regular, bog-standard, you know, American comedy movie, and turned out to be, in my opinion, one of the best comedy films in the past decade or two. So funny. I've seen it, like, I think 3 times now. Never fails to crack me up. It is so brilliantly hilarious. It's clever. It's sharp as a whip. And it has just really enjoyable, entertaining performances, a really good plot, but for the most part, it is just fucking hilarious. I love that film so much. That's the biggest surprise of the year for me, because it's one of the ones I wasn't expecting to be, you know. Love, Simon actually is another one that I thought would be just a good decent teen romance. It just knocked my socks off. I thought it was a phenomenal film. It made me cry. So most disappointing film of the year. Right down the bottom I have like Pacific Rim, but like I wasn't really expecting much from that to begin with. Yeah, it all seems on par. You know, even Jurassic World I didn't like very much, but I wasn't expecting to. I don't know. It's maybe Mute. Mute was a film that I still think is really good, but I think that it got a bit too icky for me. A bit too, the whole pedophilic element just didn't sit right with me. I don't see what it added. I don't know. I felt like the world that Jones was creating there was really interesting and cool, even if it's a bit Blade Runner-y. Yeah, I don't know, just that could have been even better than it was. And also Suspiria, which I think I need to give another chance. That's one that just yeah, I just went way off the deep end at the end there. So yeah, there you go. Suspiria, Mute, films like that, I suppose. Not too many disappointing ones. All the ones at the bottom of my list were just kind of films that I expected to be just okay. Or Wildling is a film that the first 30 minutes of that film are fucking phenomenal, and then it just so that was a film that was disappointing, but I wasn't expecting anything anyway, so it wasn't too bad. But I feel like that had so much potential and just didn't live up to it whatsoever, because the opening was so strong. Scott from Cineram says, aside from Star Wars, is there another film series or franchise that you would like to rewatch from the beginning someday? Well, we just recently rewatched the entire Harry Potter series. We need to get back to talking about the Fantastic Beasts movies, but that was so great to rewatch all those Harry Potter films again. It was nice for me to kind of let go of that thing within myself where I feel like I can't rewatch films I've seen before all the time because I want to watch films I've never seen before. But it was nice to just sit down and enjoy films that I've seen before, but also enjoy them in consecutive order. I can't remember if I've ever actually sat down and watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, in succession over about a month. In time. So that was fantastic. I think we're thinking about trying the James Bond movies again, me and Connie, because she hadn't seen all of them, and I went through all of the films in the box set 6 years ago, and then about 3 or 4 years ago me and Connie tried to do it, but we stopped just at the beginning of Roger Moore's run of films. So perhaps that might be like the next project. Actually, I'll tell you what, just coming out of Creed 2, I want to watch all the Rocky movies again, I have to say. So that's one I'm really looking forward to going back to and going Rocky all the way through and back to Creed again. Although I just recently rewatched Creed like 2 days ago, so I'll probably leave that one out. So purely the Rocky movies I'm really looking forward to getting back to. Ryan Chataway asks, top 5 favorite sequels. Favorite live album by any band, and what music are you listening to right now? Thank you for the questions. Just checking the battery on my laptop. We should be good to go for the rest of this video. So, top 5 favorite sequels off the top of my head. To me, very, very, very boring answer. You know, Empire Strikes Back, Aliens, of course. There's another really obvious one. Terminator 2. Yeah, Terminator 2, Aliens, Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, blah blah blah. We all know the great. Dawn for Planet of the Apes, perhaps. And I mean, I could say The Last Jedi, but I'll leave Empire Strikes Back as the sole Star Wars pick. I would also say Blade Runner 2049. That is an incredible film. So 2 very, very recent films, actually, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and Blade Runner 2049. But Aliens, incredible. Just builds on the first film, but does its own thing. Same with Terminator 2, only it's from the same director, so it's even more impressive that he was able to expand, but also do something different with the sequel to the Terminator. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, I think, is just one of the best films ever. You know, I will stand by that film, defend it to the death. I think it's a masterpiece of a film. And Blade Runner 2049, again, kind of builds on everything from the first film, does its own thing, but feels exactly like it belongs and fits in that world. And Empire Strikes Back is Empire Strikes Back. So that's my top 5 sequels off the top of my head. There's probably loads more. I could talk about Godfather Part 2. Sorry, I didn't include that in my top 5, man. I know that's probably the one you were waiting for. But I mean, I need to revisit that. Speaking of revisiting stuff, the Godfather films, it's almost been 10 years since I last saw those films, period. So they really do need a rewatch. Favorite live album from a band. Pink Floyd is my favorite band. Rush is my second favorite band. I wouldn't say that either of them have particularly huge, amazing live album releases, actually. Really thinking about it, especially Pink Floyd, they didn't do much at all. I mean, there's Pulse, which is very good, but I prefer some of the earlier stuff, or Gilmour's solo tours and live albums. But Rush, they're great live, but there isn't this kind of one great kind of live album for me. So I would go to S&M, I think, Metallica. What an incredible combination that was. Just this amazing, heavy metal music with this like symphonic orchestra. Like, oh my god, that is such an incredible album. I haven't listened to that in years. I love it so much. And what music am I listening to right now? I listened to a bit of Pink Floyd. I just have this selection of songs on my phone that I listen to over. I need to change it up a bit. I listen to some like 80s kind of synthwave stuff randomly when I'm working sometimes. I really got into a rut with that fucking Weezer cover of Africa. I must have listened to that about 3. I just got obsessed with that for some reason, and that's usually what happens. I just get obsessed with like single songs and things like that. So you just random stuff at the minute. There's nothing too specific that I've been going through and going back to. I was in a real cycle on Fleetwood Mac's Rumours about 6 months ago. I listened to that album over and over and over, and it just never got old until apparently it did, because I'm not listening to it anymore. But yeah, so that's kind of my answer to that. And finally, if I can squeeze it in for my laptop, therefore my microphone dies. And I just quick kind of not name check, but visual check on my new t-shirt, LV426, because I just think it's fucking awesome. I wanted to show it in a video. Right, so sorry, the question which I remembered from Graham at Man v Film, he asked me what has been my best, I've had to just find the exact wording of it, so I can kind of, I don't know, just roll into it a little bit more smoothly. Although bringing up my phone and doing it this way doesn't make it smooth at all. So I don't know why I just did that. What's the best bargain you've had in your collecting days? So there's been plenty of great deals, and we saw a few months ago there was some cracking Poundland pickups, and lots of great deals that I've jumped on and saved money here and there with discounts and deals and multi-buys, all that kind of stuff. But I would say that the 2 best bargains I ever got, as far as like bang for your buck kind of really getting the most out of it, would be, if I can grab it without destroying it, number 1, the Before trilogy, which is, just 3 of the best films I've probably ever seen, and I love these films so much. This was announced, and it was of course going to be like $80, $90, $100, and it went online on Amazon.com, the pre-order, for the princely sum of $39.99. Now on Amazon.com, the regular price for just a single film in the Criterion Collection is usually $29.99. So yeah, this was a real steal. So I jumped on it and thought they might change it. They didn't, and I got it for $39.99, which was awesome, and was definitely a pricing error, and was definitely a bargain, because you get 3 films, all the nice special features and everything else that goes along with it. And I'm going to put this down instead of shoving it into the shelf and damaging the delicate packaging. And the second one is exactly the same story, and I believe it was the same year, so it was kind of like a double whammy of pricing errors. It is the Lone Wolf and Cub collection, $39.99. There's essentially 7 films on this, and it was just like, what is going on? I'm going to pre-order that, and I got it. And when this turned up, I sat down and watched everything on it over 2 days, and it was one of the best Blu-ray watching experiences of my life. So just, yeah, those 2 I would say are the best bargains I've got, as far as like multi-film sets, but also sets with nice packaging, with great extras, films that look great, and films that I really enjoyed. And in the case of the Before trilogy, love those films. So yeah, can't think of anything else that's more obviously, you know, bargain-like, I suppose, if I really think about it or look around, and my laptop is about to run out. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you guys for all the questions. I'll see you with the December Q&A, and so until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.